your steadfastness in your belief in God, and respect for him as your husband. Not necessarily for his alcohol, his smoke, but for him as your husband. Now, whose adorning? Verse 3. Let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel. Peter is saying what he must see is not what's on the outside. Verse 4. But let it be, come on, read with me, the hidden man of the heart is that which is not what? Corruptible. Now, if the hidden man of the heart is not corruptible, what he's suggesting that is corruptible? Yes, the gold, the pearls, the fancy dress. He's saying that's corruptible stuff. The inner character is incorruptible. Which in the sight of God, finish verse 4, is of great price. Now consider this. Here's all the outward adorning. And God, here's the inner character. God says, yes. Where should our emphasis be? Listen to God speaking to Samuel. 1 Samuel 16, no need to turn there. Look not on his countenance, on the height of his stature, for I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh where? On the outward appearance. Where does God look? If God looks on the inside, where should my emphasis be? Let me also point out something. Well, let me tell you this first. Go to Revelation 12. There's a long response, but it's a big problem in the church. And so we might as well deal with it. There's no rush. The sun sets in 2 hours, I think. And you don't have to go to work. You don't work on the Sabbath. Revelation 12, we'll read from verse 1. Visitors, if you're listening, I'm talking to my members. You are just eavesdropping. That's all. I'm talking to my members. So visitors, relax. Please don't call the police. All right. Revelation 12. Let's read from verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Now, that's a picture of the early church. At some level, it's Mary delivering Jesus. At another level, it's the church of whom Jesus is the center and the founder. Notice how she's described. A woman, what? Clothed with the sun. The moon under her feet. And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. Now, what does the sun give? What does the moon give? What do the stars give? That was one of the reasons God made them, Genesis 1:14 to 18, to give light. She is clothed with what? Give me one word. Light. But light from where? Above. Where's the sun? Outside the earth. Where's the moon? Outside the earth. Where are the stars? Outside the earth. Her light is not of an earthly nature. Her light, in other words, she's dressed by whom? By God. Let's go to Revelation 17. Revelation 17, read from verse 1. And they came, one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth hath committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw, now read with me, I saw a woman, that's the second woman, sit upon what? A scarlet-colored beast, keep reading, full of names of blasphemies, having 7 heads and 10. Now read verse 4 nice and loud. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold, precious stone, and pearl. What do you understand by she was decked? Huh? Man, she had jewelry all over. She was decked. How was the woman in Revelation 12 described? Light. Light. Light from another source outside of heaven. Now, the woman in Revelation 12 represents the true church. The woman in Revelation 17 represents fallen Christianity, false worship, Babylon, described in verse 5 as a whore. Let me ask you this, men and women. When we dress, which of the 2 women do we want to look like? Now some of you are saying, I wish that man would get his sore throat and just shut up. But the Lord will preserve my voice. There's no sore throat today. Let me tell you very clearly, we are not to wear jewelry. There's only one person in the Bible authorized to wear what is called jewelry. That was the high priest. He did not wear it on himself. He wore it on his garments, and only while he was officiating. He had a breastplate with 12 precious stones representing each tribe, then a stone on one shoulder with the names of 6 tribes, a stone on the other, the names of 6 tribes, symbolizing God carries our burdens and he has us on our heart, on his heart. When he wasn't officiating, he took that off. He wore nothing. When it comes to dressing now, did you say dressing? Let me put it in. Go to Exodus 28. Now, I haven't read these questions before, let me tell you. I just thought I'd stay out of that. Let the church choose. Exodus 28, verse 2. Now, this is God speaking to Moses. When you have Exodus 28, 2, just say amen. Amen. All right, now let me ask you this quiz question. Who was older, Moses or Aaron? Aaron. By how many years? 3 years. All right, 3 I think, yeah, 2 or 3. All right. Now here is the younger brother receiving instructions from God for the older brother. Read verse 2 nice and loud. And thou shalt make holy garments for whom? For glory and for beauty. Stop. What kind of garments? Holy. What was Aaron's position? Priest. Are we now a kingdom of priests? Yes. So these garments, in some sense, are for us. Notice what God says. Thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. Now, without taking much time, the glory of God is his character. God's amazing grace. Page 322, paragraph 2. The glory of God is his character. When Moses said in Exodus 33, verse 18, I beseech thee, show me thy glory. The Lord came in chapter 34, verse 6. The Lord, merciful, gracious, abundant in mercy, long-suffering. He showed him his character. The glory of God is his character. God tells Moses, when you make garments for Aaron, Aaron doesn't choose them himself. Are you with me? Moses represents God. Let me say it again. Moses represents God. Aaron represents the servants of God. So God is the one telling Aaron how to dress. God must tell us how to dress. In other words, when you decide to dress, your first question must not be, do I look sharp? Do I look better than the other women? The first question must be, do I look like a child of God? And so the Bible says, for glory, then for beauty. God doesn't want you to look as though you fell off the back of a Salvation Army truck, but he certainly wants you to reflect him first. For glory, don't rearrange that order. Sometimes we drop the glory altogether and we dress only for beauty. It is not by accident that when Paul talks about dressing and adornment, he only talks to women. I'm getting into more hot water, but I'm in it, so I'm enjoying it. Listen to me. When you go to stores, you look at all the magazines. Whom do they target? Women. The cosmetic industry overwhelmingly targets whom? Women. The fashion industry overwhelmingly targets women. The nail polish industry targets women. The pedicure industry, and I have got one, targets women. The manicure industry targets women. The hairdressing industry certainly doesn't target me, it targets women. Somebody say amen for truth. So this has been the case way back. So when Paul is writing, Paul is not writing as a male chauvinist. Paul is writing as a man with 2 eyes. And Paul sees the problem of fashion in the church back then was mainly a problem for the women. So Paul cautions women. Now, do men have problems? Yes. But overwhelmingly in the area of fashion and style and cosmetics and jewelry and wigs and whatever else, we're talking about women. God is good. All the time. And all the time. God is good. Give me an easy question.
Last night you said, whatever we do, we must acknowledge God.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellen G. White says that wherever we go,
Mm-hmm.
we must go for God.
Yes.
Can I go to the Bahamas for a holiday?
Let me tell you something. God says He will give us the desires of our hearts. But we must put Him first. Now, as a little boy, when I joined the Adventist church, I used to be Catholic until my mother found out about the Sabbath. In all her life, she was an adult. She never knew about the Sabbath. The church never told her anything. When she found out, she was powerfully convicted, immediately began looking for a church where people worship on Saturday. She never heard of such a thing. She found a church, took us all in. I'm glad she did that. And when I began to read the Bible, I read about Paul. And the Bible character, apart from Jesus, that fascinated me most was Paul. You know why? Paul went everywhere. And as a young boy, I had to study religion for my O-levels. You used to have O-levels in Uganda? You had to, okay. And religion was one subject. So I had to study the journeys, the missionary journeys of Paul. He went here, he went there. And I said quietly to myself, I would love to do that. Not knowing that one day, the Lord would give me the desires of my heart. You want to go to the Bahamas? Okay. How can you put God at the head of that desire? Can you contact an Adventist church in the Bahamas and ask them, is there a need that you have? I have some money to waste, I want to bring some for you. Is there some project you're working on? I can bring my family, we can build with you. Is there some orphan, some that we can come and support? Is there a house of a member that's leaking we can help build? What can we put in the vacation that represents direct service to God? Instead of just going to the Bahamas for a lot of money, lying on the beach for a week, and then coming back home with a sunburn. How does God fit in? That's my only question. Don't think I'm saying don't go anywhere, don't go see, Queen Elizabeth Park, or don't go see Ngorongoro in Tanzania. I'm saying is, where does God fit in? That's all I'm saying. My brothers and sisters, when God is our first thought, we are spared 1,000 difficulties and problems. Because the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether therefore ye eat or drink or go to the Bahamas or whatsoever you do, finish it for me. Let me ask you this. Is there anything the Christian can do in which he should not include God? Case closed. All right.
Pastor, thank you so much for the message. I've been told in my church that when I die, I go to heaven. Is this really true?
Yes. If you live an obedient life, you don't go as soon as you die. You spend a little while in the grave. And when Jesus comes, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Where's that found? 4 verse 16. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in the which all that are in their graves shall hear his voice, and shall come forth. They that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. Where's that found? John 5:28 and 29. Yes, you go to heaven if you're faithful, but not at the moment you die. You go to your grave, rest your bones. When Jesus comes, he calls your name, you come up immortal. This corruptible has put on incorruption. This mortal has put on immortality. No more sickness, no more death, no more old age, no more debts, no more school fees, no more divorce, no more stillbirths, no more police, no more jails, no more matoke, and you go to heaven. Huh? Okay, God is good. And all the time. Okay, if you're from Kenya, no more Ugali. Okay.
Pastor, you told us that obedience to God is separate to prosperity and success.
Obedience to God is what?
Sacred. The way to prosperity and success. But when I look around this country, those who are not faithful in life, the crooks and ungodly, are very wealthy. Isn't in disregard of God's principles? Isn't this a contradiction?
This was a problem for David. It was a problem for Job. David said, when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, my feet had almost slipped. Job was wondering in Job 21 from verse 7, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. Their bull gendereth and faileth not. Their cow calveth and casteth not her calf. They send forth the little ones like a flock. Their children dance. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth and in a moment go down to the grave. And Job is seeing all of that. How come the wicked prosper? Let me tell you something. Listen to the Bible. 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 8. 1 Timothy 4 verse 8. Because if you keep your eye on the prosperous wicked, you may go astray. There's more to life than this life. 1 Timothy chapter 4, reading verse 8. For bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness is profitable unto what? All things, having promise of the life that now is. Finish the verse. And of the life that is to come. The Bible says, using godly principles in all you do has benefits not only now, but in the life to come. We must never forget the life to come. Jesus said, what is a man profited if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? Now we must think with the mind of Jesus. Amen. Someone who profits only in this world and ends up in hell has not profited. Now, if my mind is only material, if my mind is only secular, then I will desire the prosperity of the wicked. My brothers and sisters, the Bible has promised that God will abundantly bless those who obey everything He says. Amen. What did I say? Everything. The problem with us, we obey some and not others. We obey what we call the big things and we ignore the little things. Let me tell you something. If I saw an elephant standing next to my house, I would not be concerned for my house. If I saw a termite next to my house, I will run to call home the exterminator, because a termite will eat your house down. Are you listening to me? There are termites destroying the temples of God's people because we ignore what we call little things, and the results are seen in every aspect of our lives. God has promised in Deuteronomy 28 verse 13, and God will make you the head and not the tail. Goes on to say, ye shall be above only, ye shall not be beneath. Now the condition for that is do everything I say. Now, you run a business that's not successful. Are you doing everything God says? Before you covet the wicked, are you doing everything God says? Remember, in the temptation of Jesus, the third temptation, the devil said, he showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them and said, all this will I give you if you fall down and worship me. The devil can bless, put bless in quotation marks. He would have given that to Jesus. So we must look at prosperity through God's eyes. A prosperity that does not include God is a loss. We must think like God. Run your business on godly principles. Obey God. Run your business for God and see what God does. And do not lust after the success of the wicked, because it will not last for a long time. Next question.
Pastor, how long did Abimelech stay with Sarah? Because in verse 18...
How long did what?
Did Abimelech stay with Sarah?
Oh, Abimelech stayed with Sarah.
Verse 18, the cause of infertility was due to Sarah, not to Abimelech.
Read verse 18 again. What is it?
The cause of infertility.
Oh, okay. The Bible says in Genesis 20, verse 17, so Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maids, and they bare children. Now, I was wondering that question today, by the way, when I went home to prepare. Not for questions, but just how long was Sarah in Abimelech's house before he released her? But the Bible says God had afflicted Abimelech, his wife, his maids. Now, in verse 6, God said, yea, I know of Genesis 20, that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee. And I preached about that this morning. How did God keep Abimelech from abusing Sarah? God made him, it seems, impotent. He couldn't do anything. Now, there are two ways to be impotent. One is, you're physically able to, but your seed is dead. Are you with me? So your seed is dead. The other way is you just can't get up off the chair. Okay, you just can't. Okay. God must have struck Abimelech with a double dose of impotence. So he couldn't do anything. And verse 17 says, so Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech. So she must have stayed in his house for some time before she was released. Very insightful question, not necessary for salvation, but an interesting question.
Pastor, is it a sin to tell a lie to protect someone who is going to be killed?
Yes, it's a sin. Yes. And I say yes very unhesitatingly because many Christians make excuses for certain sins. God can protect that person. We must trust God. You don't do the work of God with the spirit of Satan. The Bible says, thou shalt not bear false witness. Of the 7 things that God hates, one of them is lying lips. There is no circumstance under which it is okay to lie, including your visa application. Is this working? There is no circumstance under which it is permissible to lie or to steal or to whatever. None. Because that little helpful lie, and put the word helpful in quotation mark, put Christ on the cross. Because if you defend that sin, you must defend this one. And so I live in a country where there are 9 women to 1 man, and so I try to help out a social crisis, so I have 5 wives. I'm helping society. Are you with me? I can make a sociological argument. There is no defense of any kind for any sin, however small. God wants people who don't joke. You either hate sin or you hate God. You can't like some sin and love God. You can't mix. Hates, the Bible describes Jesus God himself describes Christ in Hebrews 1:9. Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Simple.
Pastor, I'm a housewife. I have no income. How can I pay tithe?
Well, if you have no income, then you can't return tithe. It's 1/10 of your increase. Now, if someone gives you a nice dress, you estimate the value of the dress. I'll give you time to laugh. Go ahead. You estimate the value of the dress and return it.